What if I told you that by the end of the second quarter of this year, your grocery store shelves might not look the same? We're not talking about panic or paranoia, we're talking about preparation. The world feels increasingly unstable these days, markets are volatile, global tensions are rising, and warnings about potential food shortages in 2025 are becoming louder. Today, we're breaking down 10 essential foods you should start stockpiling before June shortage hits. We'll cover why these foods matter, how they can protect you during emergencies, and smart tips for storing them effectively. It's time to think ahead. Welcome back to Mary's Pot, your go-to channel for food trends and amazing recipes. Kindly subscribe to stay connected. When disaster strikes, the first thing on most people's minds is survival. But survival isn't just about having enough food in your food storage, it's about having the right kind of food. Not only are these items affordable, but they're also packed with nutrients, long shelf life, and versatility in the kitchen. So if you're wondering what to buy now to keep your family safe and well-fed later, stick around. The first item is dry legumes. These humble legumes are absolute powerhouses when it comes to survival food. They include garbanzo bean or chickpeas, kidney beans, black beans, lima beans, pinto beans, and lentils. These staples are loaded with protein, fiber, and vital minerals. They're also incredibly budget-friendly, making them perfect for anyone aiming to build a strong food reserve without breaking the bank. Dry beans can last up to 8 years if stored properly, cool, dark, and dry. Plus, beans and lentils offer tons of versatility in the kitchen, think soups, stews, and easy pairings with rice for a complete, filling meal. Lentils are particularly valuable because they cook faster than most dried legumes, using less water and fuel, a huge plus if utilities are disrupted. To effectively stockpile beans, consider the following. Storage containers. Choose containers that seal tightly to prevent moisture and air from entering, which can lead to spoilage and insect infestations. Mylar bags or glass jars are excellent options for long-term storage as they provide a good barrier against air, moisture, and insects. For shorter-term storage, up to a year, resealable plastic bags are a suitable option. Storage conditions. Cool, dry, and dark. Store beans in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight and sources of heat, as these conditions can degrade the beans. Temperature. Aim for a temperature below 70 degrees Fahrenheit 21 degrees Celsius. Humidity. Keep the storage area dry to prevent mold growth. Freezing for preservation. Simply put the beans in freezer bags and seal them tightly. Freezing helps prevent infestation and kills bean beetles and their eggs. Keeping them cool, dark, and dry can extend their shelf life up to 8 years or longer. Spices like cumin, chili powder, and dried garlic can make your beans way more enjoyable when cooking during tough times. Lentils generally last about 5 years, but when stored properly, they often remain good well beyond that. And here's the kicker, with supply chains becoming more fragile, experts warn that staples like legumes could face unpredictable price spikes or supply gaps, especially if droughts or fuel costs hit agricultural areas like the US, Canada, India, South America, and some parts of Africa. Because of inflation and climate concerns heading into 2025, it makes sense to buy now while prices are still reasonable. So it's not just a smart move, it's a necessary one. Next on our list, rice. A global staple that no pantry should be without. Rice provides quick energy, pairs well with just anything, and can stretch a small portion of protein or veggies into a hearty meal. Rice and beans are a legendary combo, they can create a complete protein. White rice, in particular, can last up to 20 to 30 years when stored in airtight containers with oxygen absorbers. That makes it one of the most cost-effective and longest-lasting food items you can stock. Proper storage involves keeping it in a dry, cool place, away from direct sunlight and pests. Here's a more detailed look at how to stockpile rice. Store rice in a dry and cool place, preferably below 20 degrees C, 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Keep rice away from pests like insects and rodents. Avoid exposing rice to direct sunlight, which can degrade its quality. Use airtight containers to prevent moisture and pests from entering. You can also vacuum seal rice into smaller portions to prevent spoilage after opening. If you have a harvest of rice and want to store it long-term, consider drying it to reduce moisture content. Every 10 degrees Fahrenheit drop in storage temp doubles grain shelf life, so avoid hot garages if possible. But here's the warning sign: recent reports show that global rice prices are rising due to extreme weather, shifting export policies, and increased shipping costs. Key exporters like India and Thailand are reducing rice exports due to water shortages and geopolitical tensions. That means prices could spike, or supply could dip in the coming months. Waiting too long could mean paying much higher prices later. For storage, white rice, or parboiled rice, is better for the long haul than brown rice, which goes rancid faster due to its natural oils. So, stock up now while it's still affordable and widely available. Coming in at number 3, peanut butter, or any long-lasting nut butter. While emergency preparedness is important for everyone, it can be especially daunting for parents. Some parents wonder if peanut butter is a good option for long-term food storage. This question can be a lifesaver when creating a food supply that's not only nutritious but also kid-approved. This isn't just a sandwich spread. It's a survival superfood packed with healthy fats, protein, and calories to keep your energy up when other food sources are limited. In crisis times, calorie-dense foods become essential, and peanut butter delivers. One spoonful is satisfying, comforting, and nutritious. Most jars last 1 to 2 years unopened, but with proper storage, you can extend that even further. Just keep it in a cool, dry spot, and rotate your stock regularly. Expert tips for storing peanut butter. Unopened jars of peanut butter should be kept in a cool, dry, and dark place. Opened jars can be stored in the cupboard. However, to maximize shelf life, especially for natural peanut butter with its shorter shelf life due to a lack of preservatives and stabilizers, store opened peanut butter in the fridge. Stock up on a variety of peanut butter types, creamy, crunchy, etc., to cater to different preferences. Everyone in the family could have their favorite version. While peanut butter is a great source of nutrients, be mindful of portion sizes, especially for those watching calorie intake. Given the rising cost of peanuts and tree nuts globally, nut butter may not stay cheap for long, so grab a few extra jars on your next store run. Next is dried corn. Dried corn kernels are a great staple to keep stored in your kitchen. Not only is dry corn convenient and nutritious, with plenty of fiber and vitamins, but it is also one of the pantry items with the longest shelf life. It can be soaked and fermented to make pap, combined with beans or blended as flour. Different types of corn can last for different lengths of time. In most cases, the dried corn you will want in your kitchen will be dried sweet corn. This is the type of corn used for recipes like corn on the cob, corn chowder, and so on, and it can last for 2 to 3 years on average. There may also be a chance you are storing a variety known as dent corn, which is used for making corn flour, in which case you will have it on hand for a while. In ideal conditions, Palmetto Industries says they can last 15 years or more, but with temperature fluctuations, 10 to 12 years is a more realistic estimate. Dehydrated sweet corn, on the other hand, may only last a few years, but can be rehydrated and used similarly to fresh corn. In order to maintain your corn's quality, be sure to store it in an airtight container away from heat, light, and moisture. For larger quantities, consider using grain bins, bags, or piles, maintaining a temperature within 15 to 20 degrees of the average fall temperature. Regularly inspect the stored corn and aerate if necessary to maintain uniform temperature and moisture levels. The United States remains the largest corn exporter in the world. Other significant corn exporters include Brazil, Argentina, and Ukraine. These countries have rapidly expanded their corn production and export capacities in recent years. Climate change poses a significant threat to corn production, with unpredictable weather patterns, droughts, and floods potentially reducing yields. Number 5 is shelf-stable dairy and alternatives. Fresh dairy might not be an option in a crisis. Having shelf-stable choices like powdered milk, tetrapacked plant-based milks, almond, soy, oat, or even freeze-dried cheese can be a game changer. Powdered milk stored properly can last 5 to 10 years. Tetra Pak milks offer ready-to-drink convenience but have shorter shelf lives once opened. Freeze-dried cheese and dehydrated cheese powder let you enjoy comfort foods like creamy sauces or cheesy casseroles even without refrigeration. Since dairy is highly sensitive to supply chain disruptions and cold chain issues, it's smart to stock up now before prices spike further. Also consider adding calcium and vitamin D3 supplements to your stash to cover your nutritional bases if dairy becomes limited. Import tariffs and quotas, limits on import quantities, can significantly increase the cost of exported milk powder in certain markets, according to the international trade. Next on the list is dried pasta. Having a supply of pasta can be helpful during unexpected circumstances or when access to fresh food is limited. Dried pasta can keep for several years when stored properly in a cool, dry place. It is incredibly resilient and can remain edible for years when stored correctly. Also, pasta is a relatively inexpensive food staple and can be used in a variety of dishes, making it a practical food to have on hand. Here's how to properly store pasta. Store pasta in a cool, dry place, away from direct sunlight. Transfer pasta from its original packaging to airtight containers to protect it from moisture and pests. Rotate your pasta stock, using older packages before newer ones to ensure freshness. If pasta becomes brittle or discolored, it's best to discard it. Next, freeze-dried fruits and vegetables. While carbs and proteins often get the most attention, vitamins and minerals from fruits and vegetables are equally critical for long-term health. Freeze-dried produce locks in nutrition, flavor, and texture far better than traditional dehydration, and can last 25 years or more when properly stored. Having freeze-dried berries, bananas, peas, broccoli, corn, and more can brighten your diet and help maintain your immune system during stressful times. Keep freeze-dried foods in airtight Mylar packaging or sturdy cans, with oxygen absorbers inside. Watch for any damaged packaging and store in a cool, dry spot. Even though freeze-dried foods are pricier up front, they're an investment in your health, morale, and meal variety during emergencies. Now let's talk about canned protein. While beans and lentils provide plant-based protein, having ready-to-eat canned proteins like tuna, salmon, chicken, beef, sardines, and even ham and canned beans is vital, especially if cooking fuel becomes scarce. Canned proteins are easy to store, last between 2 to 5 years, often longer, and offer important nutrients, including healthy fats from oily fish. Sardines, tuna and mackerel are great sources of omega-3 fatty acids, which support your brain and immune health, especially important under stress. In a world where refrigeration might not be guaranteed, canned goods are your best friend. These items are pre-cooked, shelf-stable, and ready to eat. They're a lifeline for quick, no-cook meals, and some brands now pack their cans with clean ingredients and healthy oils, like olive oil. Incorporate canned meats into your regular meals so you're familiar with using them. Plus, protein is one of the hardest things to find in a crisis, so building a stash now can save you both money and stress. Store canned goods in a cool, dark, and dry place to maintain their quality and prevent spoilage. Inspect cans for signs of damage like rust, bulging, punctures, or leaks before buying or consuming to prevent food poisoning. Use older canned goods first to ensure you are using the freshest products. While vacuum-packed pouches have a shorter shelf life than canned goods, they still offer a good option for long-term storage. Next is honey. Honey can be a valuable food source in emergency situations. Honey can last for years, even decades, if stored properly in an airtight container. It can be used as a sweetener, in recipes, for making beverages, or even for medicinal purposes. Raw, unpasteurized honey contains antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals. It has been used traditionally for wound healing and may have antibacterial properties. Honey's low moisture content keeps bacteria from surviving. And without bacteria at work, honey just doesn't spoil. Plus, honey is acidic enough with a pH around 3.9. This can ward off most of the bacteria and organisms that spoil other food. It will darken and/or crystallize, but it is still safe to eat. Metal or plastic containers can oxidize the honey, and heat can change its flavor. So, for best results, store it away from any heat-producing electronics in your kitchen. Store it in a tightly sealed, glass jars. Keep it in a cool, dark place away from direct sunlight and heat. Use clean, dry utensils when scooping honey from the jar to prevent contamination. While some honeybee species are not at immediate risk of extinction, wild bees are facing greater threats. The main reasons for this decline include habitat loss, pesticide use, climate change, parasites, and pathogens. Note: babies under 12 months should not be fed honey because it can contain spores of Clostridium botulinum, a bacteria that can cause infant botulism, a serious and potentially fatal illness. Babies' immature digestive systems cannot handle these spores, whereas older children and adults can. And finally, don't overlook the mighty oat. Whether it's rolled oats, steel-cut, or quick oats, this grain is a breakfast staple with a lot more versatility than you think. Oats can last up to 2 years in original packaging, or longer if vacuum-sealed. They're high in fiber, iron, and complex carbs, making them ideal for keeping energy up and digestion moving. You can use oats to make porridge, energy balls, pancakes, bread, even savory meals like oat risotto or oat meatloaf. Keep them cool and dry. Avoid storing oats in hot or humid environments, which can lead to spoilage. Use airtight containers. This helps to prevent moisture and air from spoiling the oats. For long-term storage, these can help to remove oxygen from the storage container. If you are storing oats in a place where bugs might be an issue, consider freezing them for a few days before storage to kill any potential larvae. With grain prices unstable and oat crops affected by weather patterns in Canada and Northern Europe, this is another item that could face price hikes in the coming months. Building a diverse food stockpile now gives you the security and confidence to weather storms, whether literal disasters, job losses, or supply chain breakdowns. Don't forget salt, sugar, cooking oils, and spices. These aren't just luxuries, they enhance flavor, provide crucial calories, and even aid in food preservation. Start with dried beans and lentils, rice, and canned proteins for a solid nutrition base. Add shelf-stable dairy and freeze-dried produce for essential vitamins and morale boosts. Rotate your supplies, use older stock first, label everything, and integrate these foods into your regular diet to avoid waste. Start with a few cans under the bed, a rice bucket in the closet, or freeze-dried pouches hidden behind furniture. Organization matters. Use a spreadsheet or notebook to track your inventory and dates. So let's recap: dried beans, rice, nut butter, dried corn, dried milk, dried pasta, freeze-dried fruits and vegetables, canned protein, honey, and oats. These are 10 affordable, shelf-stable, and nutrient-dense foods you should stockpile before June. Remember, preparing doesn't mean you're panicking, it means you're being smart and proactive. It is peace of mind, and these staples will serve you well, whether you're navigating inflation, food shortages, or just trying to eat smart on a budget. Stockpile now. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share with someone who could use a reminder to prepare. Subscribe to my channel for more smart prepping ideas, food security tips, survival strategies, and amazing recipes. Until next time, stay ready, stay nourished, and stay tuned.